Marvel Cinematic Universe is one of the most significant film franchises of the 21st century. Since its 2008 Iron Man, the mega franchise has gone on to redefine the cinematic landscape and has spawned several other cinematic universes that seek to replicate the same success of the MCU. One of the areas the MCU is praised for is its masterful planning and use of interconnected stories that allow for all the main characters to grow and develop in their own films before having their views and ideals being challenged in crossover event. However, the MCU is not perfect and it wouldn't be fair to expect it to be, but it is very easy to spot some of the mistakes Marvel Studios made along the road to Endgame. 7. Ultron. This is a bit of an easy choice, but it's no secret that Avengers: Age of Ultron is the least popular of the Avengers films. Many attribute this to the fact the film acts as a setup for the next phase of movies. This leads criticism of Age of Ultron to focus purely on that area of the film, leaving out Ultron. Ultron is one of Marvel's most famous villains and if used correctly can be a terrifying enemy for the heroes to face. You can see this in the first trailer for the film and in his debut scene. However, after this Ultron becomes a quippy and unthreatening character. Marvel really dropped the ball with Ultron and it's a shame he never reached the heights of his comic book counterpart. 6. Iron Man and Vision's relationship. Vision was introduced in Age of Ultron as a new body for Ultron. But with some help from Thor and Mind Stone, Jarvis was able to take control of the body. Tony Stark's AI companion that had been by his side for every adventure was now his own person. Yet the relationship between Tony and Vision is never explored. The two characters share so little screen time it's laughable. Tony and Vision only speak in Civil War one-on-one after Rhodey's accident. Tony has nothing to do with Vision in Infinity War and now, spoilers, Tony is dead. This seems like such a missed opportunity after years of witty back and forth between the pair. Admittedly, it is hard to figure out where the two could share some screen time in the current sequence of events. But even just a couple scenes spread across Age of Ultron, Civil War and Infinity War would have been nice. I personally always find myself wondering if Tony mourned Vision, considering he should consider him one of his closest allies. 5. Killing off all their villains. Marvel has a real issue with killing off its antagonists. Ironmonger, Yellow Jacket, Killmonger, Ultron and now Mysterio. Not every villain has to survive, but it seems a missed opportunity to kill off so many. Returning villains are always a treat and can allow them to develop further. Look at two of the most popular MCU characters, Loki and the Winter Soldier. They started as villains and became anti-hero types. This is great, but it would be fun to explore the other side too. What if in Iron Man 3 Ironmonger, Whiplash and Justin Hammer team up against Iron Man? What if Ultron could return in a weakened form and the only person who could stop him was Hank Pym? So many opportunities are lost when you take the easy option and just kill off your villain. We can still hold out hope that one day we'll get Dark Avengers or Masters of Evil, but the MCU just doesn't have the villain roster to support either of those teams at the moment. 4. Releasing Black Widow in 2020. Black Widow is one of the oldest characters in the MCU and should have had a film given to her a long time ago. A Black Widow story could have fit in after Avengers, Captain America: The Winter Soldier or Civil War. While it is fantastic that the character is finally getting her own film, it is possibly just a bit too late. There are reasons for this behind the scenes, however it is still a mistake made by Marvel. Giving Black Widow a film, even if it is a prequel, directly after audiences have just said an emotional goodbye to her is simply bizarre. It removes the finality and impact of the death and it seems strange to start a new phase of Marvel movies with a prequel about a character who has already died in canon. 3. Faking too many deaths. This critique of the MCU is one that was often brought up during Phase 2 as audiences began to realize that their favorite characters were never in any real danger. It wasn't until Phase 3 that the main characters actually started to kick the bucket. Loki may be the trickster god, but we've seen the character die 3 times now, but he still has a show on the way. Coulson was killed in Avengers but brought back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury faked his death in The Winter Soldier and it's likely that Vision will return in some form in WandaVision. All these characters have fair enough reasons for returning that do serve the story. But it does not change the fact that when a character dies, unless they're a one-off villain, it is expected they'll return. It lessens the stakes of the entire franchise as deaths become a joke amongst the fandom. There shouldn't be a quota of dead characters that needs to be reached, but it is worth remembering that a character death can be used to heighten the stakes, impact other characters, and it also allows actors to graciously step away from their roles. Yondu's death in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a prime example of how to do a character death correctly. 2. Dropping the Hulk and Black Widow relationship. One of the surprising elements of Age of Ultron was the introduction of the romance between Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff. While the relationship is decisive amongst fans, almost everyone would agree that the most annoying part of their romance was the fact it was barely acknowledged in Infinity War or Endgame. We see in Ragnarok that Bruce is clearly still thinking about the lost romance, so why is it barely addressed? The best we get is a throwaway joke about their reunion being awkward. There is no confrontation between the two that we get to see, no exploration of how their relationship may have been able to work with Smart Hulk, and when Natasha does choose to sacrifice herself we only see small reactions from Bruce. Had Bruce and Natasha's romance been explored further just before the time heist, her death would have even more impact. When Thanos snapped away half of all life, he saw a young Gamora. When Hulk brought everyone back, it would have been fantastic to see Bruce be able to tell Natasha that they succeeded in bringing everyone home. 1. Not caring about secret identities. The ending of Iron Man is not only an iconic moment for the MCU but for cinema as a whole. It made perfect sense and fit the character of Tony Stark well, but this has led to almost all the characters in the MCU having little regard for their own secret identities. Secret identities are a core aspect of the superhero archetype, and while not every superhero needs one, it's disappointing the MCU doesn't seem to put too much focus on this area of being a superhero. Daredevil is the only MCU character to truly nail the secret identity aspect of a superhero. It provides conflict, tension and great payoffs when characters figure it out. Compare this to MCU film characters, and the issue is clear. If any character's secret identity is a core part of their character, it's Spider-Man. Peter's secret identity has only been used as an accessory to his character, and now it would seem his secret identity, and any interesting conflict that could be explored, has been erased. Moving forward, it's unlikely that secret identities are going to be utilized, as the MCU does not seem to want to explore that avenue of the superhero genre. It's a shame, because it really does offer a whole range of exciting ways to explore and challenge characters. If you like this video, hit the like and share button. If we missed anything, comment below. And don't forget to see the other contents in the channel.